So, yeah, as you remember from last time, I've been working on my new layout, and so I thought, well, I'll put something together about this smelter stuff I've been collecting. So here's a picture of my layout that I'm going to build, and I still don't know what the name will be. That my old layout was the Granite Peak Mining and Chemical Railway. I might stick with that, but we'll see. So there's this town of Jobyna where I plan on putting a smelter in. And so what's Jobyna? Maybe you never heard of her. So this is Jobyna Ralston. She was a silent film actress in the 1920s.
Hmm.
Appeared in a bunch of Harold Lloyd films. And I don't know, these are a couple of my favorite pictures of her. Love the focal point on this. Anyways, so that's who the town's named after, and that was the town on my old layout too. I named Jopina for that town. So uh, can't do anything without chemistry, right? So here's a little bit about some smelting of any kind of sulfide ore. So there's a process called roasting where they just basically load up the ore that's probably been concentrated and just heat it up in air, and that converts the sulfide into the oxide.
Mm.
So it literally displaces sulfur uh, to oxygen, and then good old SO2 comes out, and then that comes out the stack and kills everything in the hillside and causes acid rain in the old days. Then they take that copper oxide and take it into another type of furnace called a reduction furnace or a converter. And just like making steel, steel's like an iron oxide. They'll add coke and limestone and heat that up, and the carbon will grab onto the oxygen and release CO2. In fact, this steel making process is still one of the major large CO2 emissions. A lot of work going on and trying to do different things in the modern era here, but my layout will be in the older era. So, anyways, CO2 just comes out the stack. So here's a close up of the kind of the sketch I got of this smelter for now, and um, so over here, this will be the roasting furnaces, and you'll drop off your concentrates in this area here of the building, and then these will be bins for coke, uh, limestone, and coal. So coal will run the power plant here, and then the roasted ore will come through here and go to this converter where they'll do the reduction, and then the ingots will come out over here from the smelter. So it's kind of a caricature of a smelter. This is going to be a Cotrell plant. I'll show you what that is in a minute. That kind of scrubs the gases that come through. Um, so one of the concerns was that Ray mentioned was we'll have these not huge buildings, but pretty large buildings that are kind of on the front. Uh, so I'll have to build some mock-ups and make sure that's what I want to do, but that's the idea there. Um, so I've collected some photos.
Oh, Washington.
You guys know me, I like to collect pictures. So this is the Northport smelter, and it's kind of cool. Usually smelters are these huge uh, conglomerate things, but there's some that are the older ones that are a little smaller here. So this is in Northport, Washington. And what's kind of cool here is you got this is like the roasting furnaces here, incoming ores here, and then you got the reduction building over here. Um, that. Another view there, kind of early view of this Northport smelter. And you got to love there's even like the houses next door. They look like houses. I think this is like the superintendent's house. And then this is like the office. And then this is what kind of caught my eye when I saw this on this Cottrell plant. So this structure here is actually a scrubber, one of the early, what's called the Cottrell scrubbers to scrub the exhaust gases, which doesn't look like it's doing a great job here, but doing something. And so here's a little bit later shot, right, where that scrubber is in the back here as the smelter evolved over time. So I found actually what are these called? The insurance maps are posted.
Sanford map, Sanborn map,
Sanford,
Yeah, yeah,
Sanborn map.
Sanborn, that's it. And
Sanborn.
you
Yeah,
actually got like layout of here's the earlier smelter. And you see roasting furnaces in this building. And then these were like blast furnaces at the time. And they tried to collect the gases and send them out the stack here. So yeah, there's the office there. One of those buildings was the assay office. Then here's a little bit later shot where they actually had the furnaces that connected to one single exhaust pipe. And so I wouldn't be able to put all this stuff in there, but just kind of a caricature of a smelter. And here's where the Cottrell plant was. So here's what one of those looks like. So it's like, okay, what goes on in there on these scrubbers? So this is what those scrubbers kind of look like. You got this gas coming in, and what they'll do is they'll shoot some water in there, and they'll have these electrostatic plates in there. Here it is. This is like the electrostatic precipitator. I think the other one's just a washer. They actually use charged up plates to track the dust. And actually, there's kind of a good thing you want to do because there's gold and silver in these dust particles that come off. This is the Cottrell plant that was at Clarkdale, which I talked about in a talk before when they were dismantling the Clarkdale smelter. Kind of what the outside looks like. We're taking it apart. So yeah, that's kind of what the design is. You got your roasters here, the incoming bins, and then the reduction area, and then the scrubber here, and then this is like the stack, and this would be like the powerhouse. And then we'll have the office, assay office, like thing, lab, whatever, right there. This is a inside of a different plant. Those are roasting furnaces, and then these are converting furnaces, reduction furnace. They actually rotate to pour out the metal. And then these are the hoods that suck out the air over there, the fumes. That one's open. This is a little bit more modern, but that's the idea, what those look like. And then just to pile on here, here's some other uh, smelters. I think this is in Arizona, and you can see they got the this is like a bag house here, where they just had filter bags, and then to capture the dusts that came off. You can see it's not too huge. That's what's kind of neat about some of these. They're not overly large, but you know, you can compress that down to make it a little bit of an idea. This was in Leadville. No scrubbing going on there. And then this one was at Jerome, Arizona. And you can see it's not too big.
Jerome, yeah.
Not too big there. And the Jerome smelter just has this cool stack. And I don't know what this is up here. You guys, why is this stack? Why'd they design this stack this way? But it just looks really cool, very distinctive. I don't know if I'll try to model that or not. But yeah, usually these smelters are huge. This is the one in outside of Denver. And then I think you guys could recognize this one. So that's a Durango smelter there. So most people when they take pictures or they look at pictures of trains from Durango, they're like looking at the train. But when I see Durango pictures, I'm like, oh, what? Let me look. Is that the smelter in the background? And I was on the Colorado School of Mines website, and they got a bunch of cool photos in their collection. And this is the Durango smelter a little later, as they started dismantling it. And I believe this was when it was smelting. They smelted radioactive stuff and vanadium, I think, later at that smelter.
Vanadium and yellow cake.
Yeah, uranium and vanadium, right? And then you can see this is what, like early 50s, maybe, by the cars.
40s.
Late 40s, yeah.
40s or 50s, yeah.
And this is kind of cool shot. You can see the coaling tower in the yard back there. And then there's Sean's house.
A lot of the waste from the vanadium, I had a friend who worked for the city, and he said when they were digging up water lines, et cetera, they found a lot of the waste is under the houses.
Oh, wow. Quite a big tailing pile visible on this one in the background.
Yeah. That when we moved.
Yeah, here's oh, what?
I was going to say when we moved into Durango in '77, that stack was the only thing that was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, last. Yeah. That classic brick stack.
I remember seeing that stack sitting there too.
And this is the smelter that's still there in Globe, Arizona, and a lot cleaner nowadays. We can see a lot more scrubbing treatments going on, which is fascinating. But we won't be this modern. But what interesting structures. Imagine modeling all that. I don't know. Tough to do. All right. So I will quit torturing you guys with smelter.
Great pictures.
A lot of fun there.